To all of you from wherever you come, we welcome you. We're thrilled to have you here with us, whether this is your first time or your 100th. And may I ask, who is here for the very first time? Would you raise your hands? Oh my word, I think that's a large swath, perhaps half at least. Thank you for coming, and thank you to all of you for coming. It's our great pleasure to welcome you into this grand hall to enjoy a lovely morning together. Thank you for choosing to honor this beginning point of the Sabbath day in the company of those seated beside you and in our company. We're thrilled to have you. We hope you will come again, and in fact, as a preview to an opportunity to come again that you might want to consider immediately and note on your calendars, on August 28th, 2 weeks from today, we'll have special guests with us. Two of the piano guys, John Schmidt and Stephen Sharp Nelson, will be here performing with the choir and orchestra. You're invited and encouraged, if your calendars allow it, to return on that date, August 28th, to enjoy their performance with this marvelous group of musicians. If Sunday doesn't work for you, you do have a second opportunity. They will, of course, be rehearsing with the choir on the Thursday prior to that, from 7:30 till 9:30. So if that's more convenient for you, you're welcome to drop in and drop out. That one's a little more fluid insofar as the arrivals and departures, and you may certainly come on that evening as well. We'd love to see you again. There are a few introductions of a couple of our guests that we have here this evening that I'd like to offer to you. First of all, Her Excellency Sylvia Anno, the Ghana ambassador to Denmark and Sweden, is here with her husband, Daniel Anno. We're glad to welcome them. Thank you for coming. Additionally, we have the U.S. Department of State International Leadership participants. They're entrepreneurs of science and technology and hosted by the Utah Council of Citizen Diplomacy. We're delighted to have them with us here today as well. Now a bit about the history of and background of this place, about the orchestra and the choir and the music and the spoken word program that you're going to be hearing this morning. Some of this information may be familiar to some of you, and for others perhaps new. But in an interest to provide you a bit of information that may till the soil of your understanding and deepen your appreciation for the wonder of it all, may I offer a few details. First of all, this marvelous choir is one of the oldest, most recognizable choirs in all the world. 360 voices of dedicated singers who perform here weekly. They've been performing for over a century. In fact, they began as a very small choir in August of 1847. Shortly after the Latter-day Saint pioneers, those early pioneers, had arrived in this valley searching for a spot where they could worship their God as they chose to worship him. It was only 29 days after their arrival when Brigham Young, their prophet and president, organized a very small choir to sing praises to their God and to celebrate the wonder of their arrival and express their gratitude in song. That tradition of musical adoration of God and singing of praises has continued to this day and now looks like this, with a grand choir and an orchestra to boot. Singing and music and the activity, the commitment to offer praises to God in a musical way has been a commitment of Latter-day Saints since the very beginning, the inception of this church. We know that it's a method of adoration for many of you as well, and a wonderful manner of expressing gratitude and praise. There are, among these people, remarkable human beings. Every week as I speak with some of you who are sitting there, one of the daunting facts about these people in both the choir and the orchestra that seems to be the most impressive to most everyone is the fact that every single one of them is a volunteer. They don't get paid a penny for what they do. They spend 5 to 25 hours a week in rehearsals and performances. On the occasions when they don't have special performances, that's just the routine. And they do it all as a result of their love of God and their love of music and their interest in connecting with and blessing you. It's really quite a remarkable show of volunteerism in action. They don't just show up and stand up, but rather they engage in a very ambitious and rigorous audition process to qualify themselves for the pleasure of this participation. They first have to send in an audio recording of themselves, after which they have a live audition with some of the conductors here for the choir. And then they have to take a 3.5-hour written musical skills test. Can you even imagine knowing that much about music theory? It makes my head spin just to consider it. After they've accomplished all of that, then they may be invited to join the choir, the chorale, which is a training chorale, to sing with them for several months to ready themselves for seats up here in the front for this performance today and others like it. It's a rigorous thing and a tribute to their dedication and to their musical excellence. The orchestra, likewise, is volunteer. These people similarly are magnificent musicians. And likewise, they don't do what they do to feed their families. If they did, their families would be very hungry. They do it to feed their faith and to feed ours, for which I'm very grateful. I know you are and will be as well. When they leave this place, all of them, the choir members and the orchestra members, they return to being parents and teachers and tech guys and whatever else it is they do when they're out of uniform and back to their dailiness. They're just like us, but today they're musicians of the highest order. Besides being magnificent musicians, they're simply magnificent people. And I think the marvel of them as human beings is apparent in the quality of the music that they make. Now, the music and the spoken word began broadcasting almost 100 years ago, and is now carried on over 2,000 radio and TV stations, as well as streaming around the world. It's actually the world's longest continuous running network broadcast. This conference center, this grand hall in which you find yourself seated, was dedicated in the year 2000, to accommodate crowds that could no longer be seated in the Tabernacle across the street. There are 21,000 plus seats in this place. The Tabernacle, though, is a magnificent place in its own right, and you might want to find your way over there. The organists here, of which there are 5, perform a daily noon organ recital. Well worth your time if you can make your way over to the Tabernacle on some day to delight in a bit of organ music. Okay, today's program. It really is a stirring and encouraging assortment of songs that all speak of optimism and hope and confidence in the future, and in a God who is eager to be at our sides here and now as we navigate mortality. You'll notice on your programs that the choral selections are almost all arranged by our own Matt Wilberg. Wonderful to have such a musical genius in-house. You'll hear songs that offer encouragement to us all as children of God. Songs that offer gratitude for the beauty of nature as the creations of that God. Songs that offer hope in the nearness and love of the Lord. And songs that offer joyful determination to offer ourselves in service to our God and to those around us. We hope that these 30 contemplative moments will be a welcome respite to you from the cacophonous world that swirls around us all, and that it will help you establish more peace with yourself, more harmony with the people around you, those at your side, and fellow travelers in general, and more confidence in the love of the God who is the Father of us all. Now, this place is about to become a recording studio. You've heard him hollering to us, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, we're almost there. And as we get to that final 1 minute, please remember that you are in fact seated in a recording studio with all the implications of that. If you'll try your hardest to avoid a cough or a snicker or a sneeze or a conversation, that would be very helpful for the quality of the recording. We're grateful to have you here today, and do trust that the Spirit of heaven will distill upon you, and you'll find pleasure in these next 30 minutes, music and the spoken word. Enjoy this show with us.